Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Collins Chapter 6, Naturalistic Language Instruction. Objectives. So we are going to talk about some characteristics of naturalistic language strategies, and then we'll talk about some examples of strategies to enhance to the environment to facilitate communication. Then we'll talk about some steps of naturalistic language strategies to facilitate communication. Naturalistic language strategies are also known as milieu strategies or milieu teaching. And this milieu teaching is an evidence based practice for individuals with disabilities. These strategies have several characteristics. First, they occur in natural activities in natural environments. Next, they are embedded through the day whenever opportunities arise to use language. Trials are delivered according to the interest of the student rather than being detected by the instructor. Each trial is brief in length and is followed by a natural consequence that is reinforcing the student. To increase the number of opportunities for trials, the environment can be set up or arranged to facilitate the needs for communication. The form of communication is open and can include verbal language, manual signing, or the use of augmentative communication technology, AAC. There are several different types of naturalistic strategies embedded into these milieu strategies. Now we're going to take a look at each strategy. So before we use the milieu teaching strategy, we have to arrange the environment. As your textbook explains, the more reasons that a student has to communicate, the more opportunities there are for the instructor to deliver instructional trials. So one environmental arrangement is to limit the necessary materials for an activity. So for example, during snack, the instructor can have few two cookies for the class, creating an opportunity for the learner to have to ask for a cookie. As I mentioned earlier, there are four specific milieu teaching strategies. Those are modeling, mend model, incidental teaching, and naturalistic time delay. So the modeling is the first strategy. Modeling is appropriate when an instructor is teaching a new form of communication to the student. For example, a goal may be to teach the student to ask for a drink rather than crying to indicate being thirsty. To use this strategy, you have to make sure your student has the ability to imitate your behavior or verbal behavior. Let me just read these four steps to use modeling strategy because I just copied these four steps from your textbook. First step, wait until the learner's focus indicates the need to communicate. For example, learner is looking at a new ball on a high shelf before going outside for recess. Step 2, according to the learner's interest, model the response that the learner should make. For example, instructor takes the ball from the shelf and models the word ball. Number 3 step, wait a set number of seconds, for example 5 seconds, for the learner to imitate the target response. Number 4, reinforce the student for making the target response. Teacher may say, "Yes, this is a ball," while handling the ball to the student. The second strategy is called mend model. The term mend is a term that is frequently used in the field of special education, so you may want to remember this new terminology. Mend is a term used for telling a learner what is expected and can be perceived as a basic form of a command or demand. The easy example of mend is tell me what you want. Let's take a look at 8 steps of mend model. First step, wait until the learner's focus indicates a need to communicate. For example, the student is waiting for a drink to be served at snack time. Number 2, if the student initiates a correct response, reinforce the learner. For example, teacher may say, "Yes, you can have a drink," while pouring a cup of lemonade for the student. So you provide naturalistic reinforcer. Number 3, if the student's focus signals an opportunity for an instructional trial, and the learner has failed to initiate a response, provide a means to cue the student to communicate. For example, teacher holds a pitcher of lemonade in front of the learner and say, "Tell me what you want." Number 4, wait a set number of seconds, for example, 3 seconds, for the student to provide the target response. Number 5, reinforce the learner if the target response is made. For example, teacher may say, "Yes, you can have a drink," while pouring a cup of lemonade for the learner. Number 6, if the learner fails to respond or responds incorrectly, model the response for the student. For example, "Tell me drink." Number 7, wait a set number of seconds, for example, 3 seconds, for the learner to imitate the target response. Number 8, reinforce the learner if the target response is made. The instructor may say, "Yes, drink," while pouring a cup of lemonade for the student. Now we will watch a short video clip about how MAIND strategy is being used in the special education setting for students with disabilities.
Teaching a child to request or mand. Request or mands are typically the first verbal operant acquired by children. Learning to request can include anything from a food item like a cookie, a toy, or even a preferred activity. By learning to request, children can decrease disruptive behaviors as they will have functional modes of communication to gain access to their wants and needs in their environment. Cookie. Cookie.
Cookie. Cookie.
Cookie. You did. You got a whole one because you said cookie all by yourself. Nice asking for cookie. High five. Good job, buddy. The instructor begins by delivering the reinforcer with model for pairing trials. The instructor piques the child's interest by holding the cookie where the child can see it, but it's just out of reach. The key to success is speaker motivation. The instructor uses a full prompt with a 0-second time delay. Cookie. By avoiding other words, the child is more likely to only repeat the word cookie. Beginning with a full prompt prevents the child from making an error and becoming frustrated. The instructor provides immediate positive reinforcement following the request. The instructor immediately repeats the exercise, providing less assistance or a faded prompt. Notice that the instructor does not say, "What do you want?" Teaching a child to only respond to phrases such as "what do you want" could lower spontaneous requesting in the future, as a child could become dependent on waiting for someone to ask them what they want before making a request. Each time the child was able to request the cookie with less prompting than they were in the previous trial. You did. You got a whole one because you said cookie. When delivering reinforcement during MAND training, avoid unnecessary words like "good job." Using just the name of the reinforcer itself will help the child to pair the word cookie with the actual cookie when making later request. Select the response form that the child will use. Remember, requests can come in many different forms. It can include pointing, signing for an item, or a picture exchange. Select the response form the child will be most successful with and therefore more likely to use. Teach when motivation is strong. Remember, practice makes perfect. Build motivation by manipulating the environment so the child will be more likely to mand, such as giving a piece of a cookie instead of the whole thing. Fade your prompts so that mands are spontaneous. It's important that the child also learns to ask for things that are out of sight. This can be taught by moving items from just out of reach to being placed on a shelf to being placed behind an item where only a part of the preferred item is shown and eventually faded to completely out of sight. It's important to avoid meeting the child's needs before they have to ask for items and activities, such as asking "what do you want?" or providing free access to the items in the child's environment. These steps will help increase the likelihood that the child will request spontaneously. Once a child is requesting a single item, additional items can be taught. It is important to stick to single word request until the child's able to request a large amount of preferred items and activities, such as 20 to 30 different items, before multiple word requests are going to be required. Using sentences to request, such as, "I want cookie," should be delayed until the child has a large enough repertoire of single word requests to have his or her needs met. Use database decision making. Collecting data will track the level of prompting required for each target, as well as the total number of targets the child has acquired.
Incidental teaching is the third strategy of milieu teaching. Incidental teaching is used when a learner is communicating in a very basic way, like single words or single signs. So this method is particularly good for young children. The goal of incidental teaching is to expand the breadth of communication. Although the steps and procedures can be changed by situations or for different children, we generally follow these 4 steps. First, wait until the learner initiates the desired form of communication. For example, during lunch, the learner may say apple. Number 2, model the desired expansion. The teacher may say red apple. Number 3, wait a set number of seconds, for example 3 seconds, for the learner to imitate the response. Number 4, reinforce the learner if the target response is made. For example, teacher may say, "Yes, red apple," and give the learner a slice of apple. So the teacher used naturalistic reinforcer. Now we're going to watch a short video clip talking about incidental teaching and how this method can be used in a situation of special ed.
Natural environment teaching, sometimes referred to as incidental teaching, capitalizes on an individual's environment and daily routine in order to teach new skills. This method focuses heavily on a child's current interests, using a child-directed approach to facilitate the practice of new skills in different environments, with different people, and with different materials. Because of its child-directed approach, natural environment teaching creates opportunities for greater engagement and interaction, as well as built-in opportunities for generalization. Here, we will observe a brief segment of natural environment teaching, focusing on the important aspects.
Nice job! Hey, you did so good today, so you get to pick a game and we can play it together, alright? Alright, did you find something you want? What is this?
Letter game.
It's a game? What kind of game? Letter game? The alphabet beanbag. Okay, let's play on the floor.
Here, notice the instructor waits to see what the child finds interesting within the environment. Once an item is selected by the child, the instructor will use this item to incorporate educational targets.
What are these called? Do you remember what they're called? They're bean bags. With what on them?
A letter.
Letters, all right. Hey, what color do you want to be? What do we do? We throw them? Okay. How about you pick 3 colors to be? You have green. You have, what color is that one?
Green and red.
Red, okay.
Orange.
And orange, okay, those are your 3. Do you see anything else that you need? No, not that one. That's mine, silly. You need more? More what? Green.
Yeah.
You need more green ones. And what else do you need?
Red one.
Red ones. And what else do you need?
Orange.
Orange ones, okay. So now I have black. And what other color should I be? What color is this?
Yellow.
Yellow. Very cool. How many yellows are there?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 and...
Look at it.
Wait, look at 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
5. Okay, and I'm going to be purple.
Notice that the instructor is using the letter beanbag activity to work on several targets: color and letter identification, conversational exchanges, and problem solving to find missing items are all incorporated within the same activity.
We're going to aim for this box and we're going to throw them in, okay? Who's going to go first? You are? Okay, go. Did you make it in or did you miss? You missed. Oh. All right. All right, it's my turn. Yes! Ooh. What color should I throw? Which color is this?
Purple.
Purple. Whoop. Nice. Oh, yeah, get it in there. Okay, I have a question for you. Should I throw, which letter should I throw? What is this one?
P.
P, and the P makes what sound? Pa. Good. Which one are you going to throw? What is it?
B.
B? Good job, and I'm going to throw H. H like, what word starts with H?
Ham.
Yeah.
Ham.
Ham? I love ham.
Pausing during the preferred portion of the activity allows for built-in motivation, as the child is eager to continue the game. By using this to our advantage, we can ensure that we have powerful rewards that flow nicely with the task at hand.
Let's move back a step. All right, you think you can make it? Whose turn is it? It's mine. Okay, I'm going to throw the letter
U.
U. Whoop. Yes. Nice job. All right, which letter should I, which letter, actually, can you touch the letter K? Awesome, touching K, that's right. K like kangaroo. What colors do you have left?
B and T.
Those are the letters, but what colors are there? There's red and green. Good. Throw that green one in. Oh, you can go get it. Nice throwing, though. Great job. Now, I want to throw my purples. How many purples do I have left?
2.
2 purples? Good. And what's your last one?
B.
Nice job. Now, which one should I throw next?
All of them.
All of them at once? Okay, I'll throw all of them, but tell me the letters. We have...
O. Y. E.
Good. Can you tell me a word that starts with E? What sound does E make?
I.
Good. Pretty good, yeah.
Id.
How about something you eat? It's egg.
Egg.
Egg, you're right. And what about an animal?
Fin.
Elephant. All right, I'm going to throw that, and then I'll let you help me. Which one do you want to throw? That one. Good job. All right. Throw it together. Ready?
Yo-yo.
1, 2, 3. Whoa, and yo-yo. You're right. Nice job. Let's shut the box. Nice playing, dude.
Here, we notice the instructor providing choices of activity. Providing choices for the child to assist in selecting the activities is a critical part of incidental teaching. This allows for the instructor to keep motivation levels high and keep the child excited and engaged in the task.
Strategies for success. In natural environment teaching, following the child's lead is critical. This allows us to create high levels of motivation in responding, resulting in increased opportunities for the practice of new skills and high levels of engagement. Structure the environment. Environmental structure is very important in natural environment teaching. As we follow the child's lead for activity selection, this structure is the primary way that the provider will gain control or guide the session, as well as limit distractions that may prove detrimental to generating attention and performance. Using structure to create opportunities for the practice of new skills will be essential. For example, if a child is accessing a particular activity during the session, the provider may remove several key materials needed for completion. This will allow the opportunity for the child to request needed items in order to finish the task. Model appropriate responding. Modeling should play a major part in natural environment teaching sessions. Showing the child what to do in a particular scenario is often far more effective than telling them what to do, and using your own behavior to show the child what is expected of them can go a long way in a child-directed session. Keep reinforcement contingent. This is one of the most critical aspects of natural environment teaching. Remember that even though the session is child-directed, that does not mean the child does and gets everything that they want. The philosophy of nothing comes for free holds very true in this type of a session, and we should only be providing rewards contingent upon appropriate responses. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Natural environment learning lends itself to very high numbers of practice opportunities. Providers should take advantage of this, running as many trials in the given time as possible. If you're using toys or edibles as reinforcers, make sure to keep the amounts delivered as small as you can. This will ensure that motivation remains high and decrease the likelihood of the child no longer responding due to becoming satiated or satisfied with the amount that they have received. Keep it fresh and move quickly. Natural environment teaching should be a fast-paced, fun, and exciting process. Vary your instructions, cover a lot of ground by practicing multiple skills in rapid succession, and do anything you can to keep the child motivated, engaged, and excited about what they are doing. If the child seems disinterested during this method, providers will not see the effect they are hoping for. It might be best to take a step back and restructure the environment or our style of interaction to make the session more engaging for the child. Remember, natural environment teaching should be a whirlwind of fun, excitement, and interaction. Don't be afraid to get excited and act a little silly if that's what's needed to maintain interaction and achieve your desired levels of performance.
So the last strategy of milieu teaching is called naturalistic time delay. We talked about time delay previously, but this procedure can be effective in facilitating a generalized response because it requires the learner to practice using acquired communicative responses during ongoing activities when communication is needed. We generally follow these 5 steps to implement time delay procedure. Number 1, interrupt an ongoing activity when there is an opportunity to require the learner to communicate. For example, teacher closes sketchbook or removes crayons when learner is coloring a picture during art class. Number 2, insert a delay interval by waiting a set number of seconds, for example 3 seconds, for the learner to make a communicative response. Number 3, reinforce the learner if the target response is made. The teacher may say, "Good job requesting, here are the crayons you need." Number 4, if no response, provide a model prompt. The teacher may say, "Tell me, I need my crayons." Number 5, reinforce the learner if the target response is made. Teacher may say, "Excellent, here are your crayons." So the teacher uses naturalistic reinforcer. Now you see there are several types of naturalistic strategies under the category of milieu teaching, each with a different purpose, but all can be interchanged from trier to trier if desired. You can use these naturalistic interventions to teach communication skill or literacy skill to your target student for the final project. People these days like this intervention a lot because this is a naturalistic intervention happening in the child's natural environment using natural activity. And the intervention uses the naturalistic reinforcer, which is the strongest reinforcer.